Guys, welcome to episode 91.
Season 4. So
No numbers today. You're not allowed to use numbers.
Okay, season premiere.
No, don't even say anything.
No numbers in that sentence.
Just please. I'm confused enough. What's up, guys? So, guys, let's go over, today we're going to go over some toe hold defenses. Okay? So start asking scenarios. I start to feel like I'm preaching. Start asking scenarios, okay? We have a couple in mind. We're going to go through them. Before we get into the technique, you know what? Let's get into the technique and we'll talk about other things in between. That's even better. So, guys, one of the ways to set up a toe hold, this is actually very common, is somebody passes your guard and just slap on a toe hold here. This should not happen. Okay? Your foot should not be floating around like this. So, first of all, you can't let him bend your knee and bend your ankle. Once this has happened, you're not going to be able to straighten it out. You're fighting, you're actually helping to break things. All right? So, guys, when this happens, flex both. Okay? So, if I'm, first of all, this shouldn't happen. My foot should be on the ground. It should be like here, hanging out. And I know some of the guys kind of hit this and kind of let it go and like, you're lucky I'll let you go. So there's a couple, if it's bent, you could always use your other leg. But first line of defense is flex your ankle and straighten out your knee. Now, it depends what he does. If I was in Enrique's shoes, I'd let it go. Okay? But if he doesn't, I'm just going to keep going. I'm going to go after him. Okay? So, one of the most important things is anytime you feel a toe hold coming is you got to flex your ankle and straighten out your knee. That removes the threat of the break. Now, the question is, what do you do after? So first, you got to defend. Once, guys, if your foot, unless you're extremely flexible, if you look at Meow Brothers, they're getting toe held like you won't believe. If it was my leg, my whole leg would probably explode. And they just suck it up and then take the guys back. Same, to some extent also the Mendez brothers, So if you're not that flexible, you got to be aware of it. So Enrique's on top of cross side, especially with the wrong knee. I'm going to keep my foot on the ground. Let him dive for it. All right? Oh, I have a special one when he dives for it. So if he dives for it, so as he's diving, I'm gonna lift it up and I'm gonna flex. As this is happening, guys, what I'm gonna do is drive off my free leg, and now I'm gonna arm lock the daylights out of him. So let's look at it from the other side so you can see the drive. So again, don't kind of leave floating out here. It's not a good policy. All right? Go back for a second. I'm a fan of trying to get my shin in almost like inverted. No, they can't see it right now. So let's see on this side for one more. So when he gets top across side, usually what I want to do is this. Okay? But if your foot is like facing to the ceiling, or worse yet, facing away from him, you're just giving it to him. All right? So you want to be like this or have the foot on the ground. So if somebody puts the wrong knee on the belly, I'm going to try to get away. I know he's going to keep it, but that's okay. It gives me other escape possibilities. Okay? So I start to move to make him just reset. Anytime, and in the reset, I set up a different escape. All right, so I am a fan of putting my shin in, but your shin should be inverted. It should be like this, not like this, or not even worse yet, facing away from him. Does that make sense to you guys? All right. So you can actually, like I said, if he's, I'm going to keep my foot down. So if he dives for that foot, decides to dive for it, as he's rolling, I'm going to post. I'm going to try to straighten. So right now I can't flex my ankle. He's got strong grip. But understand, he's very strong when his shoulders and his arms are lined up. Once it's above, he's not as strong. All right? So even though I cannot flex my ankle, I straighten out my knee. I don't just defend here. What I'm going to do is hip heist. I'm driving forward. And now I'm going to punish him. Do we have any questions on that?
Dollhead is asking, I'm going to grapple with my brother. Have you got any effective takedowns against someone bigger and stronger?
It depends. Are you striking? Are you for MMA? For grappling? Gi, no gi?
He says pure grappling.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite. Tap. Say hello to my little friend. I assume you're okay with him tapping when your body hits the ground. Or would you rather take him down and then just play around with him? I personally like to make a quick finish. Now, if he drives forward, so anytime, so as he's fighting forward, I will either launch him or as he's driving, bring him over to the other side. But against a big guy, that's what I do. I usually will push. When they push back, I attack submission. And in their defensive submission, if they actually successfully defend the submission, I usually reverse them.
And lots of peers asking, when you flex and before you drive, can he switch to a knee bar?
Not really. His hips are not in that position. So let's look at that again. So, yeah, start. Yeah. That's not going to happen. Let's look at it from the other side. So you have to move. You can't just flex and stay there. So as I'm flexing, I can stay here. I don't want to stay here. But I need to prevent him from getting his hips on top of my kneecap. That's not easy, especially it's not that difficult to stop. All right, so when I flex, also I don't flex like this. This is easy now because I'm lining up my kneecap with his torso. So when I flex off to the side. So it's very difficult for him to line up his torso on top of my kneecap. So I want him to actually, when this happens, I actually want him to fall as far away as, like almost turning away from me. That helps me. So flex, I drive. I will continue to drive. That was the chin to the ribs, guys. So that's, that's a pretty common setup for a toe hold. And if you're asleep, you're going to get caught. But if you're aware and ready to move before you even, once your knee is bent and your ankle is twisted, there's not a whole lot that you can do. Then you rely on your flexibility, but you need to react before it's fully locked on.
And Kanakiyoshi is asking, How crucial is the speed and strength in the extending and flexing leg?
It's not a strength move. It's a speed, yeah, you have to act quickly because he already has the grip. So you cannot let him get from, so do this side. So right now, I'm in danger. No danger. Critical danger. So here, if I'm flexing my ankle, I'm in critical danger. But my knee is bent. So if I have one or the other, you still might be able to escape. If you have either straightened out knee or flexed ankle. Ideally, you'd like to have both. But if you miss one, so even though he's cranking, I could still straighten out my knee. Okay? If I have my knee bent but flexed ankle, I can slow him down. All right? But if my so once my ankle gets twisted and my knee bent, you're done. Unless you're really flexible. I'm not gonna be able to escape this. Okay? So if you can get both at the same time, you're gonna escape. If you can get one or the other, you probably still have a good reasonable. You're in danger, but sort of critical danger comes in when your knee is bent and the ankle is already twisted.
Jim Taylor is asking, is there any advice for when someone does a toe hold from bottom of single leg X?
You know how to do it? Yeah. I will not let him do it. Get a toe hold. You got to keep the weight on the foot. You have to. If you don't keep the weight on the foot, toe hold is the least of your problems. Because if you do not have weight on that foot, you're gonna go down. And when you go down, you get leg locked. I would choose a knee bar or a heel hook over a toe hold. Me personally.
And GM Baseball is asking, when would you attack a toe hold?
Me, personally, I don't. Because I don't have flexible, I mean, my ankles are not inflexible, but they're not super flexible. But if you go against elite guys, and if you miss it, you're exposing your back. We're going to go over that next. So when this happens, I'm gonna let him play with it. It hurts, yeah, but not enough. Now all the pain is gone. For me. All right? If backstep into a knee bar and, go for the toe hold. So I can get rid of that quickly. Right now, the toe hold sucks because my ankle is fully flexed, like close to the limit. But my knee is straight, so even though if he cranks it, go ahead, I'll be able to escape. All right. So guys, when you escape, make sure you swim your legs. That was a question on one of the videos. Guys, by the way, do not sit like this on the mats, especially when there's a lot of people. I just did it because I was lazy and I just realized, I don't think I've done it once in all the episodes we ever did. But this is not a good way to sit. Imagine I'm bullshitting with Enrique. Man, I had a really good training. I nailed this guy 8 times yesterday. You shouldn't be talking like that about your teammates. And then somebody gets...
Spanish sees a spider and
Mike's
trips on top of your arm.
And somebody on the other side is launching somebody in a butterfly sweep, and the guy lands on your arm. That's a bad break. Don't ever sit like this. If you're gonna sit like this, guys, make sure you not back to the action. All right, this is a better way. This is an okay way. Don't ever sit like this with your back to somebody training behind you. Okay? I'm glad I caught myself. I don't think I've done this in any of the episodes. So guys, we're gonna go over again the back take from the toe hold. So I don't use toe hold a lot. He actually, anytime I try to use it on him as a backup plan, he takes my back. So now I just don't. I will go with the knee bar. I go with the heel hook. I will use the possible threat of a toe hold as he's moving to change position. But to do that, you'd really need to be on the ball. So you have to be in a very, very good guy, very good game. Number one, and number two is to take somebody's back off their attempted toe hold. And two, you need to be aware. Like you could be an elite guy if you're sort of like thinking about butterflies and flowers and girls or whatever else you might be thinking about. You might still get caught because you're not engaged in this. But if you're an elite guy and you kind of see it coming, you could take the guy's back off it. And elite guys will take a pop. They will take a sprained ankle to take somebody's back because they will win that match. Even if they can't walk the next day, they'll walk. But limping, they will do that in a competition. We'll come back to it in a second. But guys, so Elot Sapir gets extra credit. He sent me a very nice message on Facebook, but that's not. He gets extra credit for this. So guys, we asked you. By the way, it will be 99. I have decided. So it'll be 99 episodes, which is next Saturday. So from a week from tomorrow, and we're gonna put top 10 techniques that impacted your game, and top 10 moments in the antivirus edition. But I need to clarify. I'm asking you guys to just give me one of each. Elon actually gave me 10 of each. So Elon, you get extra credit. Thank you for the beautiful message. But if you want to do top 10, your top 10 list of both, but please feel free. If you want to give us 3, that's great. I'm just looking for one of each. All right? So I need to clarify. If you give me top 10 of each, you get extra credit. I don't know what that means. It means that next time I see you in person, you get an extra firm handshake, an extra big smile.
Adolfo Ferranda says, "Oh, I'm up to 5. Thanks for the clarification."
Yeah. Okay, if you want to keep going. But if you want to give us 1, if you want to give us 2, if you want to give us 3, if you want to give us 5, if you want to do 10, I will not stop you. I will appreciate it.
And then he followed up with, "When would you like it by?"
By next Saturday.
Today before midnight.
Yeah. By next Saturday, guys. Guys, have fun with it. Go to the episodes that you are interested in, those specific techniques. I keep saying this over and over. I'm not looking for everybody that watches this to adopt my game. Okay? My game is my game. He adopted a lot of elements. All my black belts adopted some elements, not all of them, but a lot of them. They've adopted the philosophy. They've adopted some of my favorite submissions, but they also have their own. I'm looking for, guys, you can look at somebody's video or technique because they may be a master at a very specific submission or a specific movement. Or you may be interested in somebody's philosophy, but not other aspects. So whatever is relevant to you at this state of the game, you can adopt. You can take my techniques, adapt them to yourselves. You can adopt some of my techniques. Or if you like the overall tone and overall philosophy of the game, then adopt away everything you can.
It's a jiu-jitsu shelter.
So let's look at the back take again from the toe hold. So guys, usually
From the back step or?
Back take, where you roll. So as this is happening, go what he's going to try to do, go back. He's actually going to try to encircle my leg with his leg, which is going to make my defense much more difficult here. If this happens, guys, I need to sit up. And I'm looking to move. I'm looking to move, and I'm looking to hook his legs. I'm flexing. As the guy is cranking, it will hurt. Once I control his upper body, now I'm going to bring this in. Because I'm no longer worried about him breaking my ankle. So here I'm flexing until I get into position. Once I have control of his upper body, I will bring it in. So now he has no, yeah. That's what you get for trying to go for toe hold on me. And we're down to 10 minutes, just like that. So that's, if you're training with high-level guys and you go for a toe hold, you're potentially gonna be submitted off it. Let me add another thing, guys. If you're in a tournament, and by the way, I think at IBJJF, you're allowed to do toe holds only at brown belt and black belt. But if you're in a tournament and you're down 10 points and there's 30 seconds left, by all means, go for a toe hold. You might get it. If you don't, if he takes you back, you were going to lose anyways. My personal philosophy is if you're behind, go for it. See if you can, you might be able to do something that you can win with. If you just sit there okay, I'm going to lose. No. Keep going. Take a chance. Because you're going to lose anyways. So might as well try something. Because you might surprise yourself and you might win. Okay? Also, for the lower level belts, like if you're an IBJJF event and you're blue belt and purple, you're only allowed ankle locks. Don't start with this. You can't pass the guy's guard. Don't start with this. Go ahead. Give yourself 2. That might be it, guys. You just gave the guy a sweep, and that might be the end. If you're going to go for an ankle lock, if it's 0-0, and you got a minute left, by all means, go for it. I'm a fan. Did I tell this story already? What happened to Frank in Nogi World?
No.
All right, I'm going to tell you a story. All right?
You told it in season 1.
No numbers. So, one of my students, he's in Nogi Worlds. He's in the finals. I think he won 3 matches, and he's in the finals now. And he's got good wrestling, and he's going against a guy that's also got good wrestling. They literally neutralized themselves. For 3 minutes, 4 minutes, they were trying. They were snapping the guy's head down, trying to get underneath, shooting out of bounds. They were both trying. But the other guy, just anything one guy did, the other guy neutralized it. And they had a referee, which last year, my other friend Ryan was in the finals. And it was like 2 elephants pushing each other. And the referee kind of warned them, and nothing happened, and kind of warned them, and it was over, and he kind of looked as pick one guy's hand up. Okay? So this referee, on the other hand, was like, okay, gave them warning,
Points.
Penalty, advantage, points. They're even. I just started screaming. I said, just try something. Would you? Yeah, it's nice to win, but do you want the referee to make a decision for you? I know it's gonna be. I get it that you want to be conservative because it's so close, but especially at blue or purple belt men, really try to win. In the final, and interesting, what did my friend Ryan, he did in black belt division against the same guy. The other guy took the gold at brown belt at ultra heavy last year, but his referee was like. But this time he actually did the Urigatami guard pull, submitted the guy in 30 seconds in the black belt division. So there was no referee decision. It was a very quick submission. And that's why I think you guys should try to aim your game towards. In tournaments, guys, you do what you got to do to win. I get it. But in practice, try to win by submission. Not win, but learn. And, if you screw it up, that's how you're learning. If you realize, you made a mistake. But when you make a mistake, you try to correct them, and eventually the technique or the sequences you're working on, they start to work. 5 minutes. What do we got, Mike?
Jim Taylor is asking, what do you think of the toe hold from De La Riva?
The question is, who's going to have better execution? It's a bit of a shootout. So, I tried to hide my foot here. All right, but I did a poor job hiding it. I'm straightening out my knee, and I'm moving my body. I win. The question is, who's got a better execution? First thing is, once he gets that grip, my ankle is already flexed or twisted the way he wants it to be. And so I only need to straighten out my leg, because I'm not gonna be able to flex my ankle. It's too late. So straighten out your leg and start to move your body around. Take his back if you can. If not, be ready to tap fast.
He followed up with, what if he falls with it into almost a reap?
Could you fall better? Again, it depends who's got better execution.
And
understand that I'm half a step to a step behind when I'm starting to do this. Normally, I wouldn't let him get that far.
And as far as the story, Jim Baseball is asking, so did Frank lose by 2?
Yeah, he took a bad shot. But I told so he won silver. But I told by the way, he won Nogi Pan Ams. But I told him, I said, Frank, I'm proud of you. You went out and you tried. You attempted to win instead of trying not to lose. There's a massive difference, guys, trying to win versus attempting not to lose. Me personally, as a teacher, I'd rather have my student do that than attempting not to lose. A long time ago, I'm in Nogi Pan Ams. Sometimes they have a white belt division. And there's a white belt match going on. 3.5 minutes left. The top guy flattened the bottom guy in his half guard. Got an advantage. His coach, world champion black belt, screaming, hold, hold, for 3.5 minutes. And white belt guys, try. You're building experience. I'm not saying it's the win is, but you should try. You should go outside of your comfort zone. Keep going. Like, okay, if I'm in the world championship final, and you think this is going to win you that by keeping them flat by an advantage, I understand you tried to hold on to that advantage. But understand that if you get it reversed, the top guy wins by 2 points. Understand that you're taking a risk. But if you think you can hold the other guy down for 3.5 minutes, win by an advantage in the world championship final black belt, by all means. But at this level, you're working on your experience, understanding the rule set. You're trying to become a better competitor. You still have so much. I mean, you never finish learning, but you have so much to learn. You know, so I don't think the kid won the tournament. It's the same thing with one of my Frankie's now black belt. He was in a tournament and he arm locked a guy when he was a white belt. I still remember to this day. So he arm locks his opponent and the guy refuses to tap. So Frankie breaks the other guy's arm. It was not even the final. It was a white belt tournament, not even the final. So I understand and appreciate the warrior spirit of I'm not giving up. You can break my arm. I appreciate it, understand it. But in this particular case, I believe it was, you know, I guess, you know, you gotta train your mentality to some extent. So if you do that, hopefully you won't have your arm broken 8 times by the time you get to black belt. But if you have that attitude, it's great. But also, Jacare let Hodger break his arm. He didn't tap because he was ahead on points. And he spent the last minute of the match running and kind of just holding on to his black belt world championship final. Yeah, man. By all means. So understand the context, and are you in the tournament to win? What are you trying to accomplish from competing? What are you trying to accomplish in your training? So understand what your goal is. And then train, fight, you know, and do things to help you accomplish those goals.
And one last question. This is from Ryan D'Souza. Do you encourage your students to compete?
No, I don't. Because the reality is there are some schools that only focus on competitors, and they usually when a school, it becomes a very aggressive culture, which is not conducive to learning, because what happens then, a lot of guys, if they have a good technique or good sequence, they don't want to give it out to the other guys because, you know, now the other guys would get the better of them. Also, it creates two classes of students. The top of the food chain guys that compete and that win, and everybody else. I'm not into that. I want to have students. I want to have everybody trying to accomplish their goals, whether they be getting in shape and you know, learning self-defense to, you know, being what I like to think a world-class competitor. The other thing is, in reality, I would say probably about 10% of my student body competes on a somewhat regular basis. You know, people will tell you like, well, how will you learn self-defense? Because, you know, if you got to feel that, you know, intensity where the other guy wants to break your arm in a competition. That's got nothing to do with self-defense. If you're in a self-defense scenario, you go now. It's instantaneous. Like the guy looks at you and takes a swing. There is no sort of mentally psyching yourself out for 3 weeks before the tournament. What did I do? Why did I sign up? I hate this. Well, you know, what if I embarrass myself? What if I embarrass my teacher? What if I embarrass my teammates? Don't worry about that, guys. If this is part of your martial art journey, I will support you. But you got to put in the work. If you do not put in the work, do not compete. Because there is literally 10, 15, 20 different ways to win or lose, which have nothing to do with technique. Your technique might be better than the other guy, but guess what? You tried to cut weight, you did a bad job. You literally psych yourself out. You mentally just... I've had guys that have trained for 2 years, and they compete the first time, and it's like, they freeze. They just, like, they can't move. They don't know what to do. So, also the lead up to the tournament. You know, it's literally the stress of the competition coming might cause you to lose because you're not in the right mental frame. How does that have to do anything with self-defense? Self-defense, you're not thinking about it. I'm going to have to meet this guy in the backyard, you know, in 3 weeks. It's right then and there. So it has nothing to do. So, you know, I know there's some of the guys like, you got to compete to really feel that intensity if you really want. No, because mentally the two things could not be any different. So Short answer, no, I do not. Long answer is I will support them and will help them if they put in the work. If you train once a week and you want to compete, I'm going to tell you this is not bowling. Bowling, you can throw a gutter ball and it's going to be okay. You're going to gas out in 30 seconds and then you're going to be looking. It's happened to me in the past, 15 years ago, 10 years ago. I allowed students, maybe 12 years ago, I allowed students that didn't put in the work, and the guy gassed out, and he's looking at me with these pitiful eyes to please let him quit. And I'm looking at him, I'm screaming. I'm not going to mention his name. Just finish it like a man. Do not give up. I don't care if you get submitted. I don't care if you lose, but finish it. Now I tell people up front, you train once a week, and you technically might be better than the other guy, but if the other guy trains 5 days a week, you will gas out first. As Vince Lombardi said, fatigue makes cowards of us all. Once you gas out, guys, you're done. There is no, you can't move. You know, the other guy can do whatever he wants. So if you're going to compete, make sure you're physically prepared. Mentally you have to keep building. Mentally is much harder than physical. Sometimes the mental aspect takes years, and it's different for different people how they mentally prepare. All right, so I know. All right, guys, we'll see you tomorrow for episode. No numbers for me. 92, I think. Guys, stay well. Be considerate to others. Oh yeah, you say it.
Guys, like, share, subscribe, tag, follow,
Friend.
finish your list.
Guys, we'll see you tomorrow.